Empire originated in the 13th century in a small community of Cazo in the Andes Mountains. Within the next 2 centuries, the Inca Empire expanded itself along the western edge of the continent of South America, extending boundaries as far as Ecuador, central Chile, and the edge of the Amazon basin. The entire empire consisted of about 12 million citizens.
The Incan society was built on war. Young men were required to serve in the Incan army. There were about 200,000 members, and the Incan army was the largest and best armed in the region. Their supplies were carried on the backs of llamas. The emperor owned all of the land in this empire. The emperor was on the top, while the farmers, peasants, and slaves were all equal on the bottom level.
The empire was divided into 4 quarters. Those quarters then divided into provinces. Each division was ruled by a single governor. The provinces usually comprised of about 10,000 residents. The sun god, who ruled over everything in the kingdom, from the lives of citizens to the ways of nature. Then came the emperor, who ruled over all political activities and the inhabitants of the Inca Empire. The governors, which the lowest ranking power, ruled over their cities.
The Incas believed that all deities were created by a sun god. The king was seen as the son of the sun. They practiced prayer, fasting, and sacrifice. They are polytheistic, believing in many gods. This god is the sun god. Inti's image is a golden disc with a human face surrounded by bright rays. Every day, Inti soars across the sky to the western horizon, plunges into the sea, and swims under the earth back to the east. Inti's sons are Wiracocha, Pachacomac, and Manco Capac. This god is the god of the earth. Prior to the Incan conquest, the Peruvians worshipped Pachamac as the supreme being. For political purposes, the Incas were forced to adopt Pachamac into their own pantheon, but his position was never really secure. This is the god of death, a god of insatiable greed. The Incas sacrificed over 100 children a year to Supai, and still he would not leave them alone. Religious ceremonies followed the calendar. The calendar is seasons of years, and it is a 12 lunar month calendar. It is named for important agriculture and religious events. Every month, a religious festival is held outside. Games, songs, parades, dancing, food, and sacrifice are all activities included in this festival. Animals were usually sacrificed unless something important was to happen. If something important or amazing were to happen to the Incas, they would then sacrifice a human.
People of the Inca Empire spoke the Quichua language. They were great engineers, considered the best among the Native American peoples. Inca people built roads along the coast of South America through the Andes. Their bridges were built over ravines and waterways. Buildings and monuments of the Inca Empire were built with close-fitting stones, meant to withstand frequent earthquakes. The Incas were required to select a marriage partner from within their own social groups. They were not allowed to marry someone who was not of the Inca civilization. After people were married, the women were expected to care for their children and weave cloth. Some girls were chosen to serve as priestesses in their temples. The Incas always remembered the name of their Inca rulers. They carefully preserved their bodies as mummies. Children in the Inca Empire were selected to be sacrificed to the gods. They would be fattened up on protein diets in the months leading up to their death.
Forced labor was when all Inca subjects were responsible for labor service, usually for several weeks each year. Breaking the law would lead to death. Wood, ceramic, textile, stone, and copper were the main things used to produce Incan artifacts. Farming and terracing with crops was what consumed the daily life. Boys got education at age 14, and girls got education after their first menstruation. Coca leaves were the most important because they would help with digestive systems.
Supplies needed for the army were carried long distances on the backs of llamas. The economic system of the Inca Empire was based mainly on agriculture. There were many farms and irrigation systems on the mountaintops, providing food and water for the empire. The Incas planted corn, potatoes, and other high-altitude crops.
The Incas conquered very large areas, including most of the Andes Mountains and the western part of South America. They had two very strong emperors, Pachacuti and Tupac Inca Yupanqui. The strongest driving force of the Incas was their army.
The Inca Empire fell when the Spanish invaded and took over. The Spanish armies were far more advanced than the Incas. They took the wealth and territory of the Inca Empire and converted people into Christianity. Machu Picchu was nominated for one of the 7 wonders of the world. It was an abandoned city that was elevated 8,000 feet high. It was built on a lofty hilltop surrounded by mountain peaks far above the Urubamba River. Machu Picchu contained about 200 buildings and was the hitching post of the sun.